Hi everyone, have you ever wondered why Arduinos are not used in an industrial setting, but instead all the logic relies on using PLCs? In this video, I'm gonna tell you how PLCs operate, how they are different from standard Arduinos, and I'm gonna also show you how you can turn a standard Arduino or an ESP32 into a PLC using the OpenPLC free software. The demo that I have in front of me is programmed using OpenPLC to control this LED. So on one press of the button, we have turning on the LED. On the other button, we have turning it off. And it works completely different from any other Arduino that you've seen. So stick around to see how you can build your own PLCs with the OpenPLC software and how we can use this to possibly improve our projects in the future. Before we jump into all the nitty-gritty for how this demo is implemented, I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Altium Develop. If you build electronics, you know how complicated collaboration can get. Different tools, endless meetings, and version chaos that slows everyone down. Altium Develop changes that. It's a cloud platform built for real co-creation, bringing electrical, mechanical, software, and sourcing teams together in one shared space. Instead of jumping between disconnected tools, everyone works on the same data in real time. Designers can create schematics and PCBs, procurement teams can manage parts and pricing, and manufacturing can review designs before production, all in one place. Every change, comment, and decision stays in context, so no one's left guessing. You can track progress, manage requirements, and resolve issues before they become problems. No silos, no delays, just clear, connected teamwork that keeps projects moving fast, where it's easy to bring the right people into the process whenever you need them. If you're ready to move from working together to working as one, check out Altium Develop at the link in the video description. Now, this whole journey of mine with PLCs started when I was looking for some industrial controllers, and I stumbled upon a software called OpenPLC Editor that I installed, and I was surprised to find out that it can actually work with Arduinos and ESP controllers. So I was really eager to figure out what it can do and how it can work, because Arduinos compared to standardized PLCs work in a very different way. Now with Arduinos, we have our standard sketch where we have the setup function, and then we have the loop that continuously iterates and executes our code. And while this is generally useful and very powerful, a single delay or a broken line of code can actually paralyze our program and make it stand and execute just a single line indefinitely. So if we have a condition that is always true, then it's gonna get stuck within it. But with PLCs, we have the concept of rung, where we have one operation of the so-called ladder logic that is being executed, and the execution path is really different to how Arduinos operate, because inside the what PLCs call the scan cycle, we have a moment of reading all of the inputs, executing all of the program, writing all of the outputs all at once, making any communication, diagnostic, and repeating the cycle all over again. And what this assures is that whatever we have here within the program execution does not block the operation of everything else, because in an industrial setting, if we have something that needs to happen when a certain micro switch is pressed, we cannot allow ourselves to have our code running something else or being stuck in a loop, because we need to react immediately on that change. Now, ladder logic programming is something that is way out of the scope of this video, because we will only scratch the surface for it, but it is important to know that there are some input declaration and output declaration, and depending on the state of the inputs and the conditions in between, we have certain outputs that we are controlling to be high or low depending on the logic that we have implemented within our rungs. And you could imagine that all of the rungs are like different scenarios and different situations that we have programmed within our logic, similar to how we do it in Arduino within our functions. But the most important part that you need to understand in this case is that all of the inputs are scanned and read at one point. all of the logic is being executed at another, and then all of the outputs are then populated and flipped at the same time. So there is no sequential execution like we have within Arduino, but every input is evaluated at one point, all the logic is evaluated next, and then all of the outputs are flipped immediately at once. Now, with that being said, when you install OpenPLC, you're gonna be greeted with a screen similar to this one, where you can either open a project, an existing one, or you can create a new one. I already have a project here, so I'm gonna use that one, and this is the project that I created to test out the implementation on the Arduino Uno that I have on my bench. But for now, just to show you how this operates, I'm gonna switch this to the built-in simulator. So you can see we have a ton of boards that we can use, but we also have a simulator that we can use. And after I save everything here, we can just run it from here. But before that, there are three major blocks that you need to learn about. The first one is the contact, and what I have here, this can be a binary input of any source that you can think of. In my case, I have this as a button that is connected to a physical pin on Arduino. We have the blocks, and all those blocks are defined here within the library that we have. The SR is the standard bistable latch, where when we get a signal on S1, Q1 will power, so will turn on, and it will stay on unless there is a reset signal on pin R, to which I have button 2. And if we start the simulation, depending on your computer and depending on the performance of it, it's gonna take a while for it to compile. Okay, now that is running, and if we click on any of the inputs, we can either force it through or false. I'm gonna force it through, and that turns green, and you could see that our output here, what I didn't mention before, defined as a coil. So whatever output that we can energize, that's why it's called coil. Currently I'm using LED for that. It turns on, and if I release the force, then you could see that this line is no longer powered, but because this is a latching state, the output is still on until I go in and force the reset to be true. I can release the reset there, and the output stays off until we can apply through on S1 again and reset it from the reset pin. Everything will stay on. So you can see that the program itself works on the simulator level, but now the most important part is that we can just switch this to an Arduino Uno that I have currently on my bench. And one thing that you need to do when you are creating the program for the Arduino is to do an additional pin mapping. I have the two buttons connected to pins 2 and 3 of the Arduino, and they are using the addresses as explained here within the location of the local variables that we have set. So, and on pin 4, I've stated that to be a digital output. Each of the pins for the PLC have a set of addresses, and that address standard is defined by the International Electrotechnical Commission with the standard 61131, where at the beginning it shows the location prefix, so whether that location is an input, an output, or just a memory location. Next is the data size, and in our example we were using X because this is just an binary input, so this is just a single true or false input, so we are just using one bit. Then is the memory address where that is saved on the byte level, and then the memory address on the bit level. So in our case we have 0.0 for the first one, 0.1 for the second, and if we drop this here for the LED, we have Q because that is an output, and this is the 0 address for it, where at the end we are just mapping each pin to a specific address where that input or output is expected. And once that mapping is done, you could select your board from the appropriate serial port, and you could choose to compile and download the program on the board that you have connected to the computer. This will go for a while because it will try to get all the libraries involved and compile all the software that we need, but eventually after a few minutes you need to have this running on your Arduino. Now, once that is done, we can have a closer look at the circuit that I have here. So I have two push buttons. This is button 1 and this is button 2. Both of them are pulled to ground using a 1K resistor. So the input on the Arduino on pin 2 and pin 3 is kept low when not in operation, so we don't have any floating voltage. I have a resistor in line with the LED on pin 4, and that on the other side connects to ground. And on the input side of the buttons, I have 5 volts coming in, so whenever I press any of the button, this one, as I said, is button 2. If I press it, nothing really happens because the LED is already off. But if I press button 1, you could see that immediately the LED turns on, and this energizes our coil in exactly the same way as we had previously with the simulator, and that will stay on unless we press button 2 to reset the logic that we have. And keep in mind that this happens on each 20 milliseconds because that's the default cycle that we have set here. All of the inputs will be evaluated, the code will be executed, and all of the outputs will be set at once in exactly the same way as with any other industrial grade PLC, because now we are not running a custom code like we have. There's not a typical sketch, but instead it's a ladder logic PLC program that was then compiled to generic code and uploaded to the Arduino. Now, this demo that I just showed you only scratches the surface of what OpenPLC can do and how it can be used to create our project. The demo is just a simple thing that we can use to first understand the concept, and then if we find that interesting, to expand on it. So if you found this interesting, then I want to ask you to leave a comment down below asking me to create more videos. I'm going to ask you to like the video down below if you did. I'm going to ask you to subscribe if you want to see more electronic projects and videos. YouTube thinks that you're going to like this video next, and I'm going to see you all in the next one. Cheers!